Welcome back guys to my hand trap and board breaker tier list for Legacy of Destruction. We've got a rarity collection coming out soon, so I thought it would be a good time to share some new cards that you're probably getting. Also an update on all the brand new tech cards like Metaltronus, so I thought it would be a good time to break down the best hand traps and board breakers. I'm really looking forward to share you guys my thoughts on these and also a bit of analysis on each card, why I think it deserves a spot here, why I think the meta trends are, the things you're seeing that are trending right now, the things that just do the job. If you really want to play it, you can play it. The things that are super niche, and those could be local dependent, or if you're playing against a friend and you just hate the deck they play, like branded, you could play things like Gold Spell, or back to the binder, cards that were great back then but are not so great right now. Things like Artifact Lancia come to mind. So let's not waste any time. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe for more videos like this one. What would you like me to cover next on the channel? And that being said, let's get into the video, guys. Let's start off with Artifact Lancia. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in the back to the binder you go. I think it was good last format, especially the Kashtira format, but things have changed and we're just not in a banish heavy format. Runic, Runic Stun was gaining momentum. It's not anymore. Very, very low reason to play this card. Bestials though. Bestials are in a really weird spot actually. Where do we put this, guys? Do we put this in meta trend against the voiceless decks? Against Snake Eye, hit the Abel Star, stop the Appaloosa climb. That's not bad, but Ghost Ogre also does the same thing. I think because the sheer power that Druism has, but it doesn't do good against Tempai. But you're seeing in every single side deck. So yes, it will be a meta trend card in my opinion. Everyone is playing Beastles. You just have to play them. Branded is still very, very powerful right now. They got Give Me Puppet Lock, so you need to respect that. Ash Blossom, another easy one. Everyone's playing Ash Blossom right now. Stops Frost, stops Wanted. Original stops Ash. Ash hits Ash. You love to see it. Obviously, if you're not playing a fire deck, it may be bad to play it because they can steal it with Heater, make Princess, and full combo anyway. Next up is Cosmic Cyclone, guys. So yeah, this is a meta trend, 100%. People are main decking this, people are siding this, and it's a great card against Tempai. If you hit their field spell, the ceiling of the OTK is not that high, and given they're going second, if they need to break a board, it's going to be tough to do that as well as OTK. So I love the idea of Cosmic Cyclone. Also, you can hit Runic Fountain. People are not preemptively summoning Immunion, they're going to summon Hugin, so I love that as well. It does shut down the Runic Stun decks. Skill Drain is the new broken trap card. We had Summon Limit, we had Red Lotus, we had Anti-Spell. Some of those have been hit to 1 or banned, and Skill Drain is the new trend. So yeah, we've got to respect that with Cosmic Cyclone. I mean, Cosmic Cyclone hitting IP for the Snake Eye combo, you love to see it. Change Your Heart, guys. So this card is now trending, and you saw it in the Road of the King reports if you check that out. It's a very useful tool to see what the trends are coming up are. So what they did over there is they started using Change Your Heart to steal the Appaloosa, which was a Snake Eye. Very high part of the combo ceiling is Appaloosa, but that's why they're summoning Harbinger with the new Snake Eyes, the Abels, they're helping them do that. I mean, Thrust, is a card that kind of embodies all these normal broken power spells. I'm going to go ahead and put Change Your Heart in the meta trend. So we're seeing a lot of meta trends right now, and I think these are for good reason. I had it happen to me, and it is painful, guys, if you don't have the Harbinger, which isn't always easy to bring out if you get disrupted. Next up is Duty Crow. So, guys, this is a weird one. I think it does the job. So I feel like Bell and Crow do similar things, but Bell hurts the Welcome Labyrinth interactions, the Labyrinth interactions, Sanctify interactions, but I think mostly it's just there to hit the Princess. Potentially back to the binder, guys. I could put this in back to the binder, and you know what, guys, I'm going to put it there. I think it is going to go in there. I just don't see why you would play Crow over other cards. Yes, the ceiling of Princess is quite high, but just play Ghost Spell, it does the same thing. Next up is Enemy Controller. So I don't honestly think this card is going to be quite popular yet. So I'm an idea of playing this as well with the Forbidden Droplets, Talents, Enemy Controller, a Spell, Board Breaker route. This might be an interesting take, but I'm actually going to put Enemy Controller in super niche. I don't think this is a card that's all purpose anymore. It was really, really popular recently, and it got a Ultimate Rare reprint as well, but I'm not seeing it anywhere, and I just don't see this making sense. In a Snake Eye mirror match, this card is potentially insane. Of course, you're losing the body, you're taking a body, so in that sense, in Snake Eye, you still want the Snake Eye Ash, so it doesn't actually benefit too much. I think these just do the job. Against a deck like the IP Protection Appaloosa, yeah, that's going to be tough to deal with, but ultimately you can just get rid of monsters. There's no Baron, there's no Savage. People are playing Harbinger to have at least some form of negate option. Goes to show why people are scared of these cards, that they're summoning Harbinger now. That's the new trend. Not sure why you'd play one of the over the other though. I feel like both do the same thing. Of course, Lightning Storm is the other option, but that's split between back row hate as well, which you love to see. Shifter's a strange one, guys. I feel like Shifter is not really a meta trend. It does the job. It's potentially super niche, and this is a card you would see in decks that actually lose to Shifter but still play Shifter because of how strong it is. But in terms of popularity, in terms of where we're seeing it, is it a trendy card right now? Not really. What is it about the Shifter card, the Shifter decks right now that are not seeing popularity? Not seeing Fluenderies as much, but also decks like Purely, which coincide and lose to D-Bear the same way Tempai does. It's like a ripple effect. Tempai should be playing Shifter, and I've seen it being used, so that not being run in Tempai does show something. Phantasme is another strange card, but I think just this does the job. Decks that link line basically, and Snake Eyes is obviously the most popular deck. You can probably get like, you know, a good couple draws, maybe draw some hand traps. Chances are that when you want the big payoff of Phantasme, they already have done quite a few setups. Then again, the negate option is actually very good, but we're just not seeing it in many side decks. I've been monitoring all the layers, you know, YCS Rio, we had a Road of the King from OCG at this time of their format, and it is getting a reprint in Rarity Collection too, so definitely expect this to be seen a lot more. It is a bit expensive right now. So I really thought Nibiru was going to be a meta trend. People dropped it out because of Tempai. I learned that the hard way, that this card is still super useful. I don't think it's a meta trend, guys. I think it has overall in the community lost popularity, so that's why it's going in. It does the job. Not the end of the world if you don't play it. People are really liking Ghost Ogre right now. Some players are saying Nibiru is, you know, nothing compared to Ghost Ogre, and you could be right, but I do think it does have a disadvantage against Tempai. Potentially Voiceless Voice as well. In a Snake Eye Mirror, I think you're gonna see success with this. At the same time, people are summoning Appaloosa quite early now. I mean, Duster is obviously going to be a meta trend, but I would prefer Lightstorm any day of the week because of the attack position link monsters. The drawback of Lightstorm isn't going to impact majority of players, so I feel like you're absolutely fine playing Lightning Storm. It does have a activation clause, so then again, if you are playing Duster and Lightstorm, they kind of come together, but I am going to put this at a lower tier than Lightning Storm, just because of the link heavy format we're in right now. Next up is Metaltronus, guys. So very early card. This was seen in the previous YCS in a side deck, and so this card is gaining popularity. So super rare, so you know, quite obtainable. Metaltronus also being a link body, link climber, you can actually target a Appaloosa, for example, or Atlantis, and special your own one. There are some really interesting options about this card, and I love that your opponent cannot respond with the same card. That just makes it super cool. But also, it's not just a card for card. You know, they can have a, for example, Harbinger, and you can summon a dragon. So it is quite interesting. It feels like a emergency teleport of sorts for the deck and extra deck, and we also haven't seen a tech card like this because of the main deck worthiness in the Snake Eye deck. I'm finding this straight in meta deck trend, guys. Let me know if you disagree, the reasons why. I'd love to know, but this card is insane, and I do think it's a worthy side deck card if you're not playing Snake Eye. Next up is Lightning Storm. So yeah, this is a meta trend, just like I said before. Does the job against back row, does the job against link monsters, which is running rampant right now. Dark Will no more, guys. I don't think this is back to the binder, because I do think it still has some merit. Obviously, monsters not responding. If the creativeness of the board building, you know, if it changes, if people start to figure out what Omni Negates are still really good. We've got Crystal Wing, which is very easy to summon. We've got Harbinger, of course. We've got Galaxy Photon Lord, Appaloosa. Definitely super niche. Pancratops does the job. I'm not sure why people aren't playing this card. I really like this card. Can attack over Appaloosa, force IP Masquerena, and then tribute and pop something. Dodges Skill Drain, which is the trendy broken trap card of the format of the season. Evenly matched, guys. I mean, I thought this should be a meta trend, and you can obviously take out so much of the Snake Eye board, and that's obviously really good, but they can also summon an SP and bring back monsters. So since SP, evenly match has just been a little bit deflated, so I'm going to put this in. It does the job, but also it is great against back row decks. We can't deny that. And against some decks, it is a blowout. You do lose your battle phase in a format where, you know, everything is a 1-turn kill, 1-turn combo plus 10. You really want that battle phase to matter. I'm going to go off though and say, because of Tempai, just because of Tempai, this is going in. It does the job. Disclaimer though, if you're a Snake Eye player, chances are this is not going to matter too much with hand traps. You want to run 12 to 18, 15 to 18 hand traps. So by default, Veiler is in there. We don't really care about it being a spellcaster anymore because of Snake Eyes the Abel Star. So for that reason, it's not that much utility as well. I think it's a fair place to put it in. You know, it can be dodged just like Imperm, but Imperm can be used on your turn, and that's pretty good. Droplets, guys. This has to be a meta trend, right? Surely. But I don't see it popping up enough. It's seen in Tempai. It's not seen in Snake Eye, which I find a little bit strange, actually. Maybe it's because of the layers of, you know, board regurgitation, let's call it. Flambridge bringing stuff back, IP coming back. You know, maybe Tempai is really the only deck that plays it. It's good against Voiceless. I think if Voiceless was a lot more trendy, we'd see this card in meta trend, but right now I think it just does the job. I do think cards like Metaltronus do, you know, shake up the board breaker spell, quick play spell format. We'll have to see though how things change with the national season coming up. Next up is Ghost Mourner. This is another card that just does the job. I'm going to put this in super niche. I think this is like the last hand trap you'd consider. Similar to the other ones. Yeah, it's got that nice burn play, but I don't think that matters as much. It's more just being another targeting negation. Again, disclaimer, if you're a Snake Eye player, chances are you're gonna, you know, this is not as valuable to you, because as long as it stops the Abel Star, could hit Celine, but Ogre does the same thing against Celine. Against Tempai, they have quick FX synchros, so they need to pair with a second hand trap. Kurikara, guys, I mean, nothing can really discount how strong this card is. I mean, let's break it down, guys. Against Voiceless Voice, they can obviously, when Skull Guardian is tributed, just special another one with the Ritual Spell Engrave. Against Snake Eye, I don't think this card is doing anything. I would love to see Tempai play this card. It left the side decks of Snake Eye decks when this was a searchable card. So I don't know what that says about the potency of this card anymore. It may have to go back to the binder. Maybe with Rarity Collection 2, guys, the coolness of the QCR might bring this back. This was a Kashtira killer. Kashtira is not as popular, so there we go. Next up, guys, is Delta and Gamma. I'll put these in the same picture because I feel like they represent the same thing. I'm going to put these in super niche. I feel like we've gone past the point of needing to run a vanilla brick. I could be totally wrong there, but I do think this card was a huge trend very early on in the Legacy days, in the Phantom Nightmare days, and has completely disappeared. Because it's completely disappeared from everyone's side deck and main deck, that's why it's in super niche right now. Next up is the Kaiju. So these are super niche. Only Tempai is going to play a Kaiju. I feel like if you want to go big with Kaiju, you got to play Lava Golem. Potentially Sphere Mode against Snake Eye. Kaijus tend to be the only option against towers-like monsters, which we're just not seeing many of. Sphere Mode is the same thing. I don't think this is a back to the binder. I really think this has some use. It's just not going to be played in the most popular decks for good reason. But a deck like Runic Stun, yeah, they're going to play Sphere Mode, and it's going to do really well. Super Poly is a very interesting one again. Funny to me that, so many decks in the game right now overlap with attributes, yet we're not seeing it as a main deck card, maybe because of extra deck space. That's a good reason. Deals with Voiceless Voice, deals with Branded, deals with Snake Eye, deals with Tempai. It's just not trendy enough for me to put it at the top. These are cards you're going to be expecting in regionals. National season is coming up right now, so these are cards to expect. Super Poly though, is a very high tier card for sure. Talent is insane, guys. This is a meta trend, of course it is, where people are playing crazy board breakers, hand traps. Look at their hand, rip something out. It's a good day. I love this card right now. Obviously draws as well. Not many people are playing this in the main deck in Snake Eye just because maybe you're going to draw too many hand traps and not actually extenders. But also, use it as a cross-out target. It's super trendy right now for sure. Where Runic Stun was just dominating, but that quickly went away and didn't actually dominate too much, let's be honest. So I think this is just a super niche card. I believe this was in some recent YCS Rio deck list, correct me if I'm wrong, where, you don't want to pay life points and lose in time with Cyclone. But MST is just way too old school. Discarding is fine in a Snake Eye deck where everything is a one-card combo. Next up is Droll and Lockbird. Wow, this is a really weird one for me. Not a meta trend, of course. I think we can all agree it's not a meta trend. And you got players like Chris Urena who actually gave commentary on this card saying he wanted to take it out. He didn't need to use it. So that makes it quite interesting. Against Snake Eye, it doesn't do as much. Maybe against Fire King, but also not really. You got Voiceless, which it can hurt them, but they can also play through it now. Bearing in mind, guys, the cards that we're putting in this tier list doesn't mean they're terrible. It just means it's not the right format. But you might find a use for it. But Droll is just really strange right now. And we're going to go back on my word. I'm just thinking about how broken this card really is. It's literally a FTK against Search Relay in decks. And a lot of rogue decks are also Search Reliant. We're still seeing it run. So yeah, it does the job for sure. I really like Ghost Spell right now. I think this is a meta trend. That's my hot take. I am running this in everything I have. Definitely does the job against Flamberge. It's sanctified to special. Things like the Tempai Biden special. Stopping the Synchro Climb, which is really crucial. Hits Princess. We can't forget that as well. Princess special triggers a ton of things. Ghost Reaper, back to the binder, guys. Unless you have a specific archetype you're taking down, that's where this card is actually quite decent. But to go back on that, isn't Metaltronus a power creep to Ghost Reaper? Never thought I'd say that, but there we go, putting in the work. So yeah, back to the binder for sure. Next one is Ghost Ogre. I mean, this is a trendy card. I think it's a meta trend. I don't know if it's the most, valuable, the VIP trend card, but it's definitely trending right now. We've got to throw it in there. Super popular against Tempai. Hit the Voiceless Voice continuous spells. Hit Celine to stop the Apple Climb. Hit Appaloosa because it's only once per chain, so you can't negate. I love Ghost Ogre coming back. One of my favorite cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! Infinite Permanence, meta trend. I mean, this is a no-brainer, similar to Vela. We got Kashtira Fenrir, guys, coming up next. So Kashtira is a big run now in Snake Eye as a value card. Also can search yourself, can search Kashtira Rise Heart, summon Dracosac, take out Skill Drain. But also, it's a fire attribute, can set things up there. A really good example of modern power creep that I actually enjoy, and I think players enjoy this card as well. The interaction is really cool. Does it just do the job though, or is it really a meta trend? You can play this and really do well with it. Sometimes it's not enough though against Snake Eye. I do think hand traps are more favored as opposed to a Kashtira Fenrir, which doesn't do amazing against decks like Melodious or the Voiceless Voice deck as well. Keep that in mind. Where in Melodious, your opponent cannot respond to like fusion effects, that's obviously really awkward. I honestly don't see a format where Lava Golem is being played right now. This is just super niche for me, and I feel like if you're like a Kashtira player or Runic Stomp player, that is where it makes sense, and it's definitely a toss-up between Sphere Mode and Lava Golem. And next up is Ultimate Slayer. I would have loved to see this card do really well in the format. I'm surprised Tempire doesn't run this card either. I would have loved to see this card, shuffling back the fire monsters. But ultimately, Flamberge is a effect monster, not a fire extra deck monster, so, they're going to always have that interaction with Princess, which is unfortunate. But you can hit Happy Masquerena, and you can hit Mirror Jade, which is really good. Metaltronus really might be the power creep to Ultimate Slayer, but I do hope it's in Rarity Collection too. I do think that is going to make this card be, at least tested a lot more. Players will try and use it, see if it's techable, but it does need a solid extra deck of maybe Exceed, Synchro, Fusion Links. And then those cards have new dual purposes, which makes you want to add more cards. If this wasn't going to be running Tempire, it's not going to be running anything else. So back to the binder it goes. But if that being said, guys, that has been my hand trap and board breaker tier list. Let me know what you think about this in the comments down below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? The cards like Pankratops really belong in that state. Do you think Druisworm, Magnamort, Saronir, Boldrake, are these really meta trend cards? Or are they just there because they're the next best thing? Is DD Crow, back to the binder? That's an interesting one as well. I never thought I'd put that there. Ghost Ogre as a meta trend card. So clearly the format has evolved, and I'm loving where it's at right now. With the Rarity Collection too, I do think many of these cards are going to get reprints. I would personally love to see Twin Twister, that would be epic. Pankratops as well. We're getting Phantasmic, that's confirmed. But also Kashtira Fenrir, making it more accessible. Ultimate Slayer, Kurikara. So a lot of things on everyone's wish list. So there we go, guys. With that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.